Did you know back in 1974, a song about folks running around with no clothes on zoomed straight to #1 on the charts and sold millions of copies?
Kung Fu fighting. Those kids were fast.
Crazy, right? That's just one example of the wild joke songs from the 1970s that took over the world. Hi everyone, today we're counting down 10 super silly hits from that fun decade that made everybody laugh, dance, and sing along. Get ready for some big smiles. Number 10, Dead Skunk by Loudon Wainwright III.
The skunk got squashed, and there you are, you got your dead skunk.
This goofy tune came out in 1973, and it is exactly what it sounds like. A guy is driving down the road and, splat, he hits a skunk. The chorus is so easy to remember. Dead skunk in the middle of the road, stinkin' to high heaven. Loudon was a folk singer who loved funny stories, and this one turned a yucky accident into pure laughs. Kids in the back seat of cars would crack up every time it played on the radio. It wasn't the biggest chart topper, but it hit number 16 and felt like it was everywhere because the words stuck in your head all day. People loved how simple and silly it was. No fancy music, just a catchy guitar and a big smile. In the 70s, everyone was driving more and listening to the radio, so this song made long car trips fun. It showed that even a smelly animal could become a star. Today, when you hear that chorus, you still can't help but grin. It proves joke songs don't need to be serious to win hearts all over the world.
The middle of the road and is sticking to high heaven.
Number 9, Mr. Jaws by Dickie Goodman.
The rhinestone cowboy.
We've just sighted the shark again. He's coming.
Imagine a radio reporter interviewing a giant shark from the movie Jaws. That's exactly what this 1975 hit did. Dickie Goodman used little clips from the year's biggest songs as answers. The shark would speak by singing lines from other hits, and it was hilarious. The song zoomed to number 4 on the charts and sold tons of copies. People rushed to buy it because it felt like a funny game. You heard bits of pop songs mixed with shark talk, and your brain tried to guess what was coming next. It was like a comedy sketch on your record player. In the 70s, the Jaws movie scared everyone at the beach, so this song made the fear silly instead of scary. Families played it at parties and laughed together. Dickie made a whole bunch of these break-in records, but Mr. Jaws was the biggest. It took over radios from big cities to small towns and showed how smart and silly music could be at the same time. Even now, hearing those mixed-up song bits makes you chuckle. Number 8, King Tut by Steve Martin.
Now when he was a young man, he never thought he'd see
In 1978, comedian Steve Martin jumped on stage in a fake Egyptian costume and sang about King Tut on Saturday Night Live. The song became a real record that sold over 1 million copies and reached number 17 on the charts. Everyone was crazy about the real King Tut Museum show that was touring America, so Steve made it funny with goofy dancing and silly words like "He's my favorite honky." The backup band, the Toot Uncommons, added funky music that made you want to move. Steve was already a big comedy star, and this song turned history class into party time. Kids who didn't know who King Tut was still loved the beat and the laughs. It played on pop radio right next to serious songs, and people sang along in cars and at school dances. The 70s loved big museum exhibits, and this joke song made ancient Egypt feel close and silly. Steve proved a comedian could have a real music hit. To this day, when someone says King Tut, people start humming and smiling.
Now when I die, I don't think I'm a nut. Don't want no.
Number 7, Kung Fu Fighting by Carl Douglas.
They were chopping them up. They were chopping them down.
Picture this. 1974. Everyone was watching kung fu movies with fast kicks and cool moves. Carl Douglas took that excitement and turned it into a disco song that exploded worldwide. It hit #1 in the US and the UK and sold millions. The lyrics are simple and fun. Everybody was kung fu fighting. Those kicks were fast as lightning. Carl recorded it as a quick B-side, but radio stations loved the bouncy beat and silly words. People danced like they were in a movie fight scene. It was one of the first big disco hits, and it crossed over to soul charts too. In the 70s, kids practiced karate moves in their living rooms while this song played. It made everyone feel like a hero for 3 minutes. The song traveled to countries all over the globe and showed how a fun idea plus a great beat could rule the world. Even today, hear the opening guitar and you start doing air kicks. Pure joy.
And little Sammy Chung, he said, here comes the big boss.
Number 6, My Ding-a-Ling by Chuck Berry.
Mama took me to grammar school, but I stopped off in...
Chuck Berry, the king of rock and roll, had his very first #1 hit in 1972 with this playful song. It was recorded live, and the crowd sang along like kids at a birthday party. The words are about a little bell toy, but Chuck sang it with such a big grin that everyone giggled at the double meaning. It stayed at #1 for 2 weeks and was a huge sing-along everywhere. Chuck was already famous for guitar riffs, but this silly tune made him a chart king late in his career. Families played it at picnics and parties because it was light and happy. In the 70s, people loved songs you could shout together. This one proved even rock legends could have fun with goofy ideas. It sold millions and became a classic that still gets crowds cheering. Chuck showed that a simple, funny song could bring the whole world together for a laugh.
Once I was swimming across Turtle Creek, man...
Number 5, Rasputin by Boney M.
In Russia long ago, he was big and strong.
Boney M. brought disco magic in 1978 with this wild story song about a crazy Russian guy named Rasputin who was super strong and full of mystery. The chorus goes, "Ra, ra, Rasputin, lover of the Russian queen," and it is impossible not to dance. It shot to #1 in lots of countries and was a massive hit across Europe and beyond. The group dressed in flashy clothes and performed with big energy. Kids loved the bouncy beat, while parents enjoyed the funny history lesson wrapped in disco. In the 70s, disco was everywhere, and this song made learning about old stories feel like a party. It played in clubs, on radio, and at home dances all over the world. Boney M. turned a real person into a silly superstar. The song still gets people moving and laughing today. It proved a joke history lesson could conquer the charts. Number 4, Disco Duck by Rick Dees and his cast of idiots.
This would treat me right, moving my feet to the disco.
Rick Dees was a radio DJ in 1976 when he made this crazy song about a guy at a party who suddenly starts quacking like a duck while dancing disco. He even did the duck voice himself with a friend from the gym. The song hit #1 on the Billboard Hot 100 for a full week, stayed in the top 10 for 10 weeks, and sold over 6 million copies. It was everywhere, on radio, in the movie Saturday Night Fever, and at every school dance. People loved the silly quack sounds mixed with disco beats. Rick got in trouble at his own station for playing it, but that only made it bigger. The 70s disco craze needed something light and funny, and this duck delivered. Families laughed together, kids imitated the quack, and it felt like pure happiness on vinyl. Disco Duck showed the world that the silliest idea could become a global smash. Number 3, Convoy by C.W. McCall.
Dark of the moon on the 6th of June in a Kenworth pulling logs. Cab over.
In 1975, a made-up trucker named C.W. McCall, really an ad guy named Bill Fries, told a story about a giant group of trucks talking on CB radios and outsmarting the police. The song hit #1 on both country and pop charts and stayed there for weeks. It went to #2 in the UK and inspired a whole movie. Truckers loved it because it used real CB talk like rubber duck and 10-4 good buddy. Regular folks loved the adventure and the funny story. In the 70s, CB radios were the hot new thing, and this song made everyone feel part of the trucker world. Kids pretended to be truckers in the backyard while the song played. It sold millions and turned a silly radio game into a nationwide craze. Convoy proved a joke story about trucks could rule the airwaves and even Hollywood. #2, The Streak by Ray Stevens.
They go
Boogity, boogity.
and he ain't wearing no clothes.
Ray Stevens took the 1974 fad of streaking, running naked through public places, and made it into comedy gold. The song has funny spoken parts like Don't Look, Ethel, and it zoomed to #1 in the US for 3 weeks, #1 in the UK, and sold over 5 million copies worldwide. Ray was already known for silly songs, but this one captured the crazy moment perfectly. People played it at parties and laughed until they cried. Radio stations had to bleep a few words, but everyone still sang along. The 70s loved wild fads, and this song turned one into a chart-topping joke. It crossed over to country charts, too, and felt like the whole country was in on the fun. Ray's clever words and bouncy music made it impossible to forget. It remains one of the most played joke songs ever, and our #1 joke song from the 70s that took over the world. Wait, no, we already hit the big ones, but The Streak is right up there as a true champion. Wait, actually, in our countdown, it's the top pick for pure laughs and worldwide takeover. Whoops! Our countdown wraps with that streak of fun. These 10 silly songs prove the 1970s was full of laughs on the radio. They mixed goofy ideas with catchy beats and made the whole planet smile. Which one is your favorite? Drop it in the comments below. If you loved this trip back in time, smash that like button, subscribe for more awesome music stories, and ring the bell so you never miss the next video. Thanks for watching, friends. Keep smiling and see you soon.